Hi everyone and welcome. Today I'll walk you through the transformation of this container. To begin, I'm creating the drainage layer. I start with lacquer at the bottom, followed by lava rocks and then a layer of charcoal on top. The idea here is that the higher you go, the smaller the particles become. This helps fill the gaps between layers and prevents the soil above from falling down into the lacquer layer, while still allowing excess water to drain properly. Alternatively, you could just simply use a sheet of mesh, but I personally like this layered approach. Next, I add the terrarium substrate. This is a mixed substrate that contains perlite. I don't usually add perlite, but for this build, I had some leftover soil, so I decided to use it. As you lay the substrate, you can create a slight slope to add some sense of depth. After that, I start applying the terrarium paste that I made from scratch. If you're interested in how I made this paste and exactly what went into it, feel free to check out my Instagram where I show the full process step by step. As you can see, I'm making the bottom of the background base slightly thicker and gradually thinning it out as I move upward. This helps keep everything stable and secure. Make sure the wall is thick enough, especially if you plan to attach any hardscape. You want enough paste behind it to allow proper adhesion. Now I'll show you how I attach some materials into the background paste. Here, I'm adding a tree farm panel to give the background more texture. I happen to have this spare piece, but it also works perfectly for creating a more organic look and gives vining plants something to climb on. For the main aesthetic element, I chose this long vertical piece of driftwood from my local aquatic shop. You may want to add extra paste at key contact points. This helps fill gaps and improve adhesion. I attach it directly into the background to create height and visual interest. Just to be a bit more playful, I'm also adding a piece of corkbark higher up. This helps extend the height of the hardscape and gives moss a place to sit later on. For this terrarium, I had a specific plant in mind, a vining plant with long, flexible stems that naturally want to reach upward. So I thought it would be perfect for this setup. Reaching the bottom of a tall terrarium with a limited open can be tricky. You may need long tweezers or your hand might fit in just enough. For this build, I'm using a key technique I rely on every time I plant in a terrarium, holding the base of the plant with another tool while gently pulling the tweezers upward. This prevents the plant from being pulled back out. This is where you get to play around again, especially with placing stones. I usually try placing rocks in different directions and adjusting them until something feels right. I added some cushion moss to create height from the substrate and use that to my advantage to form a kind of rocky hill effect. From here, how you display the moss is really up to you. I usually like to place it where it can naturally sit, on top of small bumps or along the hardscape, as this gives a more organic and natural look overall. It's always tempting to add more vining plants in a vertical terrarium like this. Plants like Ficus pumila will use the background wall and attach themselves as they climb. One of the things I'm most looking forward to is observing how this terrarium grows and changes over time. Now I'm adding the moss to the top part of the terrarium and onto the bumps I created on the back. The final touch of the moss really transformed the terrarium's vibe and aesthetic. Lastly, I give everything a gentle mist, both for the plants and to clean the inside of the container, and then wipe the glass down. And that's it. I hope you learned something from this build and feel inspired to try some of these ideas when making your own vertical terrarium. I'd love to hear about your experiences, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.